guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thank you for watching. So I know it's odd. I do have highlighter on my face. I know I said I was totally against it, but the warm weather has just made me want to reach for my highlighter. Once the summer vibe hits, I just want glowy skin. I know I'm eating my words here because I was such a matte skin lover. And to be fair, matte skin is not going anywhere anytime soon. I'm still obsessed. But now it's summer, I feel like I needed to do a glowy skin summery makeup tutorial. And so that is exactly what I've done for today's video. I've used a lot of cream products. I've also tried out some of the new Fenty cream products that I'm obsessed with, and using my favorite ever red lipstick. Honestly, this is just the best thing ever. Also guys, I have a favour that I wanted to ask you all. So a lot of the videos that I have planned to film in lockdown are taking a little bit longer, especially my fashion hauls, because obviously delivery and all that kind of stuff, it's just proving a little bit harder to get them done on time. So I was just wondering if you wanted to share any sort of ideas of videos you would really like me to film, maybe things that don't require me to be ordering stuff online, or you know, just I would really appreciate some sort of like advice on what I could film for you, because I really want to be filming stuff that you're interested in. Obviously I can do more makeup tutorials, but I didn't want to just bombard the channel and do loads of makeup tutorials. I thought it might get a little bit too much. So I just wanted to pop that one in here in case you guys have any amazing ideas for videos for me to film. So yeah, so let me know below. But if you want to see how I created this makeup look, then please keep watching. So I'm going for a really simple eye for this look, just because I feel like in summer, especially if it's like a holiday makeup look, I don't like to spend too much time on my makeup. So I'm just using this eyebrow razor just to get rid of any of the little stray eyebrow hairs that I might have. These little razors I buy from Amazon, by the way. They come in a pack of 4 and they are so handy. They are so, so good. So I'm just going to start off by putting some concealer on my eyelids, and for this I'm going to use the Too Faced Born This Way concealer. This one is in the shade Almond. And then just using a little small fluffy brush and any sort of powder, I'm just going to use my Laura Mercier translucent powder here, just to set the concealer in place. So that's the eyeshadow base done. For eyeshadow today, I'm going to use this Luxe Gems eyeshadow palette. This is a Bobbi brown one. This palette is so amazing. The colours in it are so pretty. So I'm going to use this one in the middle here. It's so pigmented and it's perfect for this look because it's quite like a subtle colour. It's nothing too heavy. And then using a big kind of flat brush, it's best to spray your eyeshadow brush with a bit of makeup setting spray before you go in, just so that the glitter sticks to the brush. So I'm literally just putting it on the lid, nothing special here, just packing it onto the lid. And that's basically the eyeshadow done, just something really simple. And then for lashes for this look, I wanted to keep them really nice and simple. So I'm gonna use the Lily lashes in the Luxe. They're just a really nice sort of natural soft lash. I wear these often, especially if I'm going for like a real no makeup. These are really good lashes to wear for that. So now the lashes are on, that is the eyes basically done. So as I said, really simple, easy look for this, nothing too faffy. Which is my favourite kind of eye makeup look, I must say. So now I'm going to move on to skin. So before I start, I'm just going to get rid of any of that excess glitter that's fallen down onto my face. Because I'm going for a slightly more dewier complexion for this makeup look, I'm going to use a moisturiser and a primer. So the moisturiser I'm going to use is the Kiehl's Ultra Facial Moisturiser. This is such a good moisturiser if you're looking for one specifically to use under makeup. I think it's really good because it's quite light, it's not too heavy, and makeup sits so nicely on top of it. It's also, as I say, it's good for a makeup look like this where you want your skin to feel a lot more hydrated, and if you're not going for such a matte base, it's just amazing. I know I'm not a massive user of primer, but because I'm not going to set my face completely today with powder, I still want that flawless skin. And for that, I feel like you can really achieve it with the Professional Primer from Benefit. This is such a good primer for just blurring out your skin and making it look really flawless. This one, as well as their newer one, that's the Hydrate one. Again, so good because it does hydrate the skin. I think if you set your face quite heavily with face powder, primers aren't really that important, but I do feel like I use primers a lot more in the summer because I just do use a lot less powder. So now the primer is on, I'm gonna go in for foundation. So the foundation I'm gonna use today is the Luminous foundation from Anastasia Beverly Hills. This one, again, is great if you want a dewy coverage. It says it in the title, Luminous. It is a really good one. I mean, I use this for matte and for dewy, but it is really good. So I'm just gonna start by applying it to my face with a face brush. This one is the Real Techniques Expert Face Brush. Okay, so once I've got the majority of that blended in with my face brush, I'm gonna go back in with a beauty blender and I'm gonna do sort of under my eyes. So now my foundation is all blended in, I'm gonna go in with some contour and I'm gonna use the LA Girl Pro Conceal and Beautiful Bronze for this. I'm just gonna do a little bit, not too much. I don't want like a crazy heavy contour. I wanna keep this, not natural, but just dewy, you know? So because I'm gonna go in with a cream bronzer, I'm not gonna take the contour as far down as I would normally. I'm just gonna keep it at the sides. And then to blend this in, I'm using a Bobbi Brown angled face brush. So to blend my nose contour in, one of my favourite brushes to use for this is actually the Eyes Build and Blend brush. It's a Huda Beauty one. The brush on this side's got like a slight angle to it, and I don't know, it just works really well when it comes to buffing in nose contour. So I'll finish off the complete blend of that once I move on to concealer. For concealer, I'm going to use the Born This Way in Almond, the same one that I used on my eyes. And then using my mini beauty blender, I'm just going to blend that in. Okay, so after I've blended in my concealer, this is where doing a slightly dewier makeup look is different from how I normally do my makeup. So obviously at this point I would normally set pretty much my entire face, but I'm not gonna do that because I'm gonna start using some cream products. For years of trying to get a cream product to blend over powder, I can't do it. I just really can't do it. So I prefer to use them first. So the first thing I'm gonna go in with is this Fenty Beauty cream bronzer. This one is amazing. So this is the color 3. And I'm just gonna apply this with a slightly fluffy bronzer brush. So this is a D04 Spectrum brush. The reason I love this bronzer is it's a very sort of like soft color, it's not too heavy. So I'm basically going to go over where I had my contour. And these green bronzers, I think what I love about them is they're super buildable, which is really nice. So I'm not going to put too much bronzer on because the main focus in this makeup tutorial is the highlight and the blusher, but I just want to warm my face up a little bit using the bronzer. I feel like when you are trying to achieve that dewy look, using a powder blusher, powder bronzer, any of that, you sort of lose it slightly. So having some cream products in your makeup bag, I think are quite important, especially as we go into summer, because they just are so nice on your skin. So my next step, and I know this might seem kind of bizarre because a lot of people do highlighter at the very end, but before, when I used to be an absolute highlighter freak, I always would put my highlighter on actually before my bronzer and my blusher. But for this, I'm gonna put it on just before I apply the blush. So for this makeup look today, I'm using the Sleek Makeup Highlighter Palettes. So in this palette, you've got 3 cream highlighters and you've got 1 powder highlight. I'm gonna use this whiter one here. Also, if your hand doesn't look like this after you've done makeup, have you really done your makeup? Do you know what I mean? So yeah, anyway, I'm gonna use this white color in here. It's kind of like an iridescent highlight, which I didn't think I was gonna be vibing that much because, well, I don't know, I just didn't. But it works perfectly and it's super just glowy and I just love it. So I'm just gonna use my finger to apply this. So just put a little bit on the end of my finger and then I'm going to focus the highlight. So I don't actually wanna highlight up here because I'm kind of trying to bring the glow a little bit more into the center of my face. So you can kind of see if I like smile like this, but awkward. You can tell where the light, I'll try and talk a bit normally while I explain this. You can see sort of where the light hits my cheek when I go like this. So that's actually where I'm gonna put the highlight. I'm gonna stop talking like that now. So I'm gonna apply it almost to like the center of my cheek, I suppose. And I know that seems like a really bizarre place to put highlight, but I quite like this in the summer. I feel like putting the highlight slightly more into like the middle of your cheek, you get like a really nice, fresh, glowy, dewy skin look. But that's pretty much where I'm gonna focus the highlight. And then you just blend it out with your finger. And see, this is why I love to put the cream products on before I put any powder on, because I feel like when you've got powder on your face and then you blend it out, the powder sometimes can go like just not very nice underneath. I've always struggled to try and get that to work, so I just feel like do this first and it works really well. So for the rest of the highlighter, I'm just going to use a little brush. This is a small like eyeshadow brush, it's nothing special, anything will work. And I'm going to go back in with that same highlighter colour, and I'm just going to apply it into sort of different parts of my face. So I'm going to start off with my brow bone. And then I'm also going to apply some just above my brow bone, sort of about there, and then blend it upwards. And then also I'm going to apply some to the center of my nose, but I'm going to focus it slightly on like the outside of each side of my nose, if that makes sense. So sort of in like a bit of a V shape, I suppose, and then just blend that again upwards. And I'm also going to put some in the center, just at the end. So not right on the end of my nose, just a little bit higher. This is just to kind of give the illusion that the nose is slightly lifted, you know? So now the highlighter is on, I'm gonna go on to my favorite cream product in the whole of this tutorial, and this is the Fenty Beauty Cream Blush. So I'm gonna use the color Petal Popping in this one. Oh my God, it's unbelievable. It's a perfect rosy cheek color. It's just so amazing. I actually didn't expect to love it as much as I do. So it's this kind of pinky reddy color. And I actually go in with this twice during this makeup look. So I put it on now, and then I'm gonna put it on again at the end, just to just so I can like get a real sort of rosy cheek. But so just got some on my finger, and I'm gonna apply most of the product sort of to the center of my cheek, so about there, and then just blend it out. So the reason I like to put the blush on after the highlight is because then you get this really sort of like glowy, blushed skin. I just absolutely love it. And as you can see, this product is super blendable. So it goes on quite like a strong color, but you can blend it out to get sort of the level that you want, and then you can go in and add more depending on how like rosy you want to make your cheeks look. So when I blend, I also blend sort of from the center of my cheek, and I blend upwards, sort of like towards my eye. So you can see here, it's just giving my cheeks a real sort of like fresh, rosy look. I mean, you can do as much or as little as this as you like. That's the best thing, as I say, about this product, is it's super buildable, so you can really sort of tailor it to what you like. Okay, so I know this next step may seem weird considering that we are going for a dewy skin look, but I cannot just leave my face with no powder on it whatsoever, otherwise my makeup would melt, and I need to set under my eyes and all that kind of stuff. So we are gonna apply a little bit of powder, but sort of in a light way and just to sort of certain areas of my face. So I'm gonna use two different powders in this tutorial. I'm gonna use the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Finish Powder, and then also a little bit of the Laura Mercier Translucent Setting Powder. So I'm gonna start off with just setting my under eyes with some of the Laura Mercier powder, just using a little fluffy brush. And so I wanna focus most of that product sort of right up onto my, sort of right up under my eye, and then I'm gonna take it down along the side of my nose, and then I'm just gonna sort of like lightly dust the area where I've basically focused like the blusher and the highlighter, just so it's kind of, it's set but not a crazy kind of heavy set. So I basically like to focus the Laura Mercier powder just sort of anywhere along my T-zone. So the places essentially I would get like sweaty during the day is where I like to set my face. And don't be worried about going over the top of the highlighted area with this powder, because it actually makes the highlight really nice and subtle, because the highlight still shows through, but it sort of tones it down a little bit, which is quite nice. So that's where I'm gonna focus the majority of the Laura Mercier powder, and then I'm just gonna use a slightly bigger, fluffier brush, and I'm gonna go in with the Charlotte Tilbury. Again, I'm just gonna take a little bit and just dust it off so I haven't got too much product. And this is for the sides of my face, so I'm gonna focus this product just sort of here. And then I'm just gonna put a tiny weeny bit along my forehead. And when I'm applying this, I'm being so light with my hands, like I'm really not pressing it in. There's also barely any product on the brush, because I still want that slight, you see I've got that sheen along my forehead. I still want that that kind of natural dewy look. I don't want to matte my skin out completely. So now the majority of my skin makeup is done, I'm going to go and set my eyebrows in place, and then I'm going to fill them in. So I'm using the Benefit 24-Hour Brow Setter here. And then I'm going to fill them in with the Benefit Cosmetics Precisely My Brow Pencil once they're dry. Just make sure they've dried before you go and fill them in. Let me know below if you guys have actually tried setting your brows before filling them in and if it's worked for you, because I'm intrigued. I know it's a bit of a rogue move, it's a bit weird, but honestly I've just become obsessed with it. Okay, while I was doing my eyebrows, I realised that I'd forgotten one step that I needed to do, and that is using the Laura Mercier Medium Deep Translucent Powder. I'm just gonna use it just to define my contour area just a little bit more. I love using this rather than a bronzer when I'm going for more of a blush look, because it's not quite so heavy, but it's just good to sort of get that little bit of like cheekbone definition, you know? So now my brows are filled in. This is sort of where I evaluate whether I want to put a little bit more blush on now that I've kind of put a bit of powder on, and I do, because I quite enjoy the fact that this is quite like a rosy cheeked look. So I'm just gonna go back in and just blend a little bit more of the blusher. I feel like as the weather gets warmer and warmer, I'm gonna get more obsessed with this blush, because it's just such a nice product. I honestly can't rate it enough. And then there is one more step before I'm gonna move on to lips, and that's applying just a little bit more highlight. I know I feel weird, this is just bizarre because I've gone so long not having highlight on my skin, but it is summer, so you know, I thought it was about time I brought it back. So I'm going to use some of the Illamasqua. This is the OMG highlighter. It's absolutely amazing. This one was one of my favorites when I used to wear highlight all the time. And I'm gonna use my favorite brush here for highlight, and this is the Sephora Pro Highlighter brush. So I'm gonna focus the highlighter where I put the cream one. So as I said, in the center of my cheek. So that is pretty much everything done apart from mascara and lips. So I'm gonna set my face here now with the MAC Fix Plus. I drench myself in this when I've got highlighter on, just because I feel like when you have got highlighter on, makeup setting spray is the most important thing, because it blends, it kind of all like melts the highlighter into your skin, so it just looks really seamless. So lips for this look, I think, is what really brings it, that sort of like summer vibe, and that is because it is a red lip, and my favorite red lip. So this is the Hot Ombre Cosmetics, and this is their dual-ended red lipstick, but I use the one that's called Alarm. So this is called Fire Alarm, and one's called Fire, one's called Alarm, but Alarm is my absolute favorite red. It's like a real orangey red. It's just a dream. It's an absolute dream. And then the lip liner I'm gonna match with this. This is the Ruby Woo matte one, I think. So anytime I wear any lip liner, I always take the edges in slightly. It's just personal preference, just kind of, don't even know why I really do it. It just kind of works a bit better, I feel. And then I'm just gonna buff them out. Then we're gonna go in with Fire Alarm. So as you can see, it's a slightly different red to the lip liner, but it works. I just quite like it, but oh, this red is so dreamy. I mean, how dreamy is that red lipstick? I'm obsessed with it. CC has actually created the perfect red lipstick. I didn't think it was possible, but it's happened. So the last thing I'm gonna do to complete this look is just apply a little bit of the Benefit Cosmetics Roller Lash to my bottom lashes, but really subtle. Don't go too crazy with it. I'm just gonna keep it like really light on the outer corner. And then lastly, it's been so long I've almost forgotten, just do a little bit of an inner corner eye highlight. Just using that same Illamasqua one here. So there we have it, guys. That is my finished summer skin makeup tutorial. As you can see, it's super glowy. It gives that sort of dewy skin look, but we've still used powder. You know, I've still had my little bit of matte skin in there somewhere, but I feel like when this weather gets warmer, it does just make me want to get out my highlighter. It really does. And the red lipstick, which is just an absolute dream, honestly. The best red lipstick ever. So I really hope you guys have enjoyed watching this one and you found it useful. I'm gonna link all the products that I used and the shade names and all that kind of stuff below, as always. Hopefully, might actually be able to take my summer skin outside for an occasion sometime soon. That would be amazing. We can pray. But thank you all so much for watching. Give the video a thumbs up if you have enjoyed it. And as always, if you recreate this makeup look, please tag me in all of your selfies because I absolutely love seeing them. But I will see you all in my next video. Bye guys.